What's up guys, so today's video is going to be showcasing two 1-card combos that result in some of the most disgusting locks I've seen in quite a while, and they're both in the exact same deck list. Which archetype is doing this? Well, it's of course the brand new Agent support. But before I get into the actual deck list, just a reminder, if you're enjoying this kind of content, want to see more content like this, or just find this kind of content useful, make sure to let me know by leaving a like on this video and considering subscribing to the channel down below. Alright, so like I mentioned, today's deck list is based around two absolutely disgusting 1-card combos that just completely lock your opponent out of doing absolutely anything. A typical end board for this deck will result in an artifact Scythe lock to stop your opponent's special summoning from the extra deck. It can end on an Archlord Kristya to stop your opponent's special summoning at all. It can end on a Baronne De Fleur, which is a nice little Omni Negate. It can end on a Masterflare Hyperion, which is a quick effect banish. And to top it all off, you could even search for a Herald of the Orange Light for a nice little hand trap to negate any monster effect your opponent tries to activate. To make these 1-card combos, you only have to draw into 2 cards. You either draw into your Diviner of the Herald, which is the stronger of the 1-card combos, or you draw into the Agent of Creation Venus, which is your other 1-card combo, which results in a very similar Scythe lock. But you can also do the same combo by drawing into your Agent of Mystery Earth, combined with your Neptune, considering this card can search for this card, and this card can then just special summon it, resulting in the same lock. And because both these cards are searchable via your Sacred Waters, this is also a very consistent way to start the combo. Right guys, that's going to do it for the deck list portion of the video. The rest of the video will be gameplay with commentary showcasing the exact same 1-card combos I just mentioned, and without further ado, let's get into it. Alright, so today I have 4 replays to show you guys, 3 of which are going to be showcasing the 1-card combos, and the final replay is just going to be a nice little fun replay of me going second because I just thought it was kind of fun. Alright. So this replay is going to be showing off the Agent of Creation Venus start. So first of all, you summon your Venus. In this case, you had a Maxx, but we obviously have Crossout Designator, so we can just ignore that. Get that shit out of my face. Alright, then we're going to summon all 3 of our tokens with our Agent of Creation. So it's minus 500 life points to summon these little shine balls from the deck. Then we're going to link summon straight into a Union Carrier. Union Carrier can then equip a Ava straight from the deck to any of our monsters. Unfortunately, we drew into the Ava, but we can still equip it anyway. It's just minus 1 card in hand. From that, we're going to link summon into our Moon. Moon can then send a card from deck to graveyard, but in this case, we're going to use the Ava first, which banishes 2 fairy monsters from the graveyard to then search for 2 fairy monsters from the deck. We can use the Moon to send a Majesty Hyperion. I think that's its name. Yeah, Majesty Hyperion straight to the graveyard. Then our Eva's going to go off searching for a Neptune and a DD Sprite. Neptune discards special summon back the agent monster. Then we can discard the card or banish the card from the graveyard to summon out our Majesty Hyperion. And because we banished the Neptune, we can also search for our field spell in the process. Which doesn't do too much in this deck, it just means you get some extra bonus effects from your Hyperions, your agent cards that all have nice little bonus effects when you have the Sanctuary of the Sky on the board. So this guy has a banish effect from your opponent's graveyard, and it can use it twice when you have this on the board. It's also important because it lets you do a search in a moment using your Celestial to search for any fairy monster rather than just specifically an agent one. You're going to banish the Union Carrier on the board. It's important you do it on the Union Carrier because that's the only monster on the board that can't be used as link material to summon out the DD Sprite. So then we're going to use the other 2 monsters on board to link summon into our Dagda. Dagda? Yeah. Using the remaining 2 monsters to go into our Crystron Halqifibrax, which special summons out a tuner from the deck. And because we activated an effect, we can then use our Dagda to then special summon out or put into our field zone, or spell trap card zone, the artifact Scythe. Alright, special out the tuner. Find these 2 monsters, then link summon into our Celestial Knight of Parshath. This card can then discard a card to then search for a fairy monster of any kind because we have the Sanctuary on the board. So we search for the Kristya. Here you can also search for orange if you want a hand trap, which is a nice little hand trap monster negate by discarding a fairy monster, which we could have done here, but I'm going to show off the Kristya play this time. Alright. Then we go into our opponent's turn. And as soon as he activates any single monster effect or any kind of effect at all, we can activate our Halqifibrax. Halqifibrax banishes itself to bring out our TG Wonder Magician. This card on summon can destroy and spell a trap card, which destroys the Scythe. Scythe, when destroyed during your opponent's turn, can resummon itself, and when it does so, locks your opponent out of using any cards in their extra deck. Then this card, as a quick effect, can synchro summon using the Scythe to summon out our Baronne De Fleur. And because we sent a fairy monster to the grave because Artifact Scythe's actually a fairy, we get to activate our Celestial Knightlord Parshath to then summon the Kristya from hand. Now be careful when summoning Kristya because this card actually locks not just your opponent out of special summoning but also yourself, so when it comes back to your turn you will have a bit more trouble trying to lethal your opponent if you don't have enough monsters on board already, because this does stop you special summoning. Alright. And he just passed the turn because he couldn't do anything, which isn't a surprise. We have a special summon lock, an Omni Negate, and we had the Scythe lock as well. So that's just the standard combo for this deck. Baronne De Fleur, going to pop the monster, and we already have lethal on board anyway. Alright, on to game number 2. So this one's going to be showing off the Herald start this time, which does end in the strongest of your boards, because it ends on what's his name? Mr. Hyperion, whatever the synchro monster's name is, that you don't actually get with the other combo. Alright, so first you summon your Herald and activate its effect. He had an Imperm, but once again, just like the first replay, we have our Crossout, so we can ignore that. This is also why you're running one copy of Impermanence in the deck, by the way, because one singular copy means you can activate your Designator, and yeah. Alright. Using the Herald, you're going to be sending, this time, your Trias, or whatever this card's name is. This guy can tribute the Herald to special summon itself, and because Herald goes to the graveyard, you can then special summon a level 1 Buten to the board, which is a tuner monster. This results in your Masterflare Hyperion. This guy can then send a card from deck to the graveyard, including from the extra deck, and then copy its effects. In this case, we're going to send the Agent card, which then summons only 2 of your balls. Remember, 2 balls. This is probably the most fuck-upable part of the combo, so summon only 2 balls. Don't summon the 3rd one. I know it's tempting, but don't summon it. Then we're going to summon out a Link Spider, so we get a card with a different name on board, so then we can use these 2 to go into our Artifact card. And this is why we only summoned 2, because then we need to use this guy's effect to summon out a token now, so you get your proc from the Dagda, or Dagda, but I don't know how to pronounce this card's name. This will then put your Scythe in your Spell and Trap card zone, and bring out your Shine Ball. Buten can banish itself to turn this into a tuner. That way you can summon out your Crystron Halqifibrax. You can then special summon this dude, and then we pass the turn. Use his Monster Born to bring back the Herald. This guy was actually... Okay. I don't want to talk too much shit about people sometimes, but this guy was really bad. Spoiler alert, this guy has a Lava Golem in hand. Now this combo has a really massive downside to it. I don't know if you noticed this, but if your opponent just tributes to Halqifibrax, that's it. Your combo's dead. You can't do anything else, because they get the first activation prompt of the turn because it's a main phase combo, and you have to quick effect during the main phase. They get the first prompt. He could just Lava Golem me. Maybe I'm missing something here, but I'm pretty sure he could just Lava Golem me and I would have just lost instantly, but anyway. On top of that, he could have Lava Golem me, then stole my Hyperion or something. I'm not sure why he's monster boarding. I don't know. Either way, let's just keep going. So Halqifibrax, it's the same thing as before. Summon the Wonder Magician, destroy the Artifact Scythe. So I say this combo is actually stronger than the other one, but it does mean you don't get your special summon lock from that other Archlord monster, but it does end on this guy instead, which I think is probably, it's just as good. Destroying the Scythe, Scythe comes back. Locking his extra deck, synchro summoning into our Baronne De Fleur, and we're good to go. Replay just gets even stranger. He then summons the Lava Golem, but doesn't tribute the quick effect Banish, but tributes the other one. I don't really... It must be something I'm missing here. Maybe I didn't read this card fully or something. I don't know what's going on here. Either way, and then just ends the turn. Brilliant gameplay. I guess this is only in Platinum, so I don't know what to expect. Hyperion will be sending this dude to the graveyard this time, so we can resummon him back. Summoning out our Herald, banishing my opponent's graveyard, using our Hyperion's effect. Then link summoning into our Moon. Moon will be sending our little guy. Hyperion will be banishing him, so then we get our thing to hand, our field spell. This so that I can then link these cards off into our Parshath. Parshath then gets a search, and because we have this card on board, we can search for any fairy monster. Even then I just searched for a Neptune anyway. Then we're summoning the Masterflare Hyperion from the graveyard because we sent a fairy. Oh no, because we banished the dude. Oh, 10 cards for the graveyard, sorry. And then monsters on board, we just summoned out our Executor Talker. I don't think this is the best way to lethal him, this is just kind of the one I came up with. But either way, we just summoned our Talker, destroy his stuff, and there we go. Alright, replay number 3. So this is going to be showcasing the 2-card combo that results in the same combo as the first one, or a variation of the first combo, because it's slightly different. Very slightly. Alright, so I know we actually just drew into the Herald, into the Agent here, so we could just done the combo this way, but the whole purpose of this replay was to show the other variant of it, or the way that results in the same thing, so. First thing we do is we just summon our Agent of Mystery. We actually had so many ways to do it here, because this card can search for this dude, this card is already in hand, and we have the Sacred Waters which can search for both of these anyway, so we had plenty of ways to do it. Any combination of 2 of these 3 cards will result in this combo. Now our opponent actually had an Ash Blossom here, but the card you'd normally search for with this is, like I said, the Agent of Creation, and in this case we don't actually have to search for it because we already had it, so yeah, we just don't actually search for anything here. We don't even use our Crossout because we don't have to. But yeah, normally you'd search for this card, alright? Just keep that in mind. We're going to discard this boy, which special summons the Agent monster from hand. Summoning out all 3 tokens. And you've already seen this start already, so I'll fast forward a little bit. Then summon your Carrier. Carrier, equip your Ava. Then summon your Moon. Ava searching for double fairies. Now this time, you do something a little bit different. Because we've already used this card's effect, we don't need to search for it. I think I misplayed here and actually searched for it anyway. Or was this card sends a card to the graveyard? We held onto our Crossout so we can deal with these imperms. Sending our Hyperion. I accidentally searched for this card because I completely forgot. You don't search for this card. You search for your orange, which is your hand trap negate, because then you can use that if your opponent has anything annoying. Yeah, that and you're searching for your DB Sprite. So don't, in this variation of the combo, don't search for your life, search for orange. This was a misplay. But it doesn't matter too much because this ends up as discard fodder anyway. In this particular replay. Banishing our dude, searching for Hyperion, getting a search for our spell. Sanctuary of the Sky. Moving our Carrier, summoning Sprite. We're going to banish our graveyard with our opponent's graveyard with Hyperion just because we can. Summon out our Dagda. Go into Halqifibrax. Special summon a tuner. Because we activated a monster effect on board, we can use this dude's effect to summon the artifact. Then we can go into our Celestial Parshath and search for, well, we're going to use this card to search for a monster which we're going to discard anyway. This is because having this card in the graveyard is actually a bit of battle protection, I believe. I don't think it's card, yeah, if a card destroyed by battle, you can banish this card instead, so it's nice to have that in the graveyard for some protection. And searching for our orange, which we could have had in hand already anyway. Meaning we could have actually searched for your other card instead, but like I said, it doesn't really matter, because whichever card it was, we're going to use orange to discard it anyway. So I chose to search for orange here to show off the other card you can search for. You could have searched for your, whatever its name is, the Darklord that you can special summon and negates everything anyway. I think it's even a Darklord, I just recognize it from Darklord. But the fairy that stops special summoning on board, like I showed in the first combo. You could have searched for that and special summoned it here, but I wanted to show off that you can search for the hand trap as well. Alright. Halqifibrax, he had a Maxx. We're not going to negate that, but we had the option to. We don't care about Maxx because we're only doing like 3 more special summons or something this turn anyway, so it doesn't really matter. If he wants to draw 3 cards, he won't be able to summon them anyway, so who cares. I do try to negate this card though, so I activate my Herald in response to this monster effect to negate it. Unfortunately, he had a Call by the Grave, spoiler alert. Negating my boy, searching for a branded. But by this point, we just summon back our Scythe, block his extra deck, and synchro summon into our Baronne De Fleur. Baronne De Fleur gonna pop a monster, he activates his Impermanence, we can negate that. We can special summon our card back from the graveyard, activate our Celestial, discard to search for Kristya. Hyperion then going to banish a card to banish his stuff in graveyard. Both these annoying trap cards that have some recursion effects. Use our Trias Engrave to tribute our fairy, and because we send a fairy to the graveyard, we can't use Celestial to special summon the Kristya straight from hand. And from there we have lethal on board, as well as, you know, a special summon lock once again. Alright, final replay. Now this replay isn't actually anything combo related, it's just showing off a fun little replay because, I don't know, it's just a fun little replay, so as a bonus. And this one was actually going second this time, so... Oh no, it was going first. I thought this was going second. Oh. Oh no, it was going... Ignore me. Alright, so he summons his Dragon Maid. Does some Dragon Maid-y stuff, pretty typical stuff. It ends on 2 lots of disruptions. He summons out his first, his Omni-negating Dragon Maid Shearer, whatever this card's name is. And of course, because he's a god gamer, he hard draws into his copy of Destiny Hero, blah 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 blah. So 2 lots of disruption here. And our hand is awful right now. To deal with it anyway. Use his little dude to summon back a card from the graveyard, but luckily we actually have a Herald of Orange Light in hand, so we have 1 negate. First, we're going to use our Sacred Waters to search for our dude, because this is the 2 card combo you need, these 2. Earth's going to try to search for a card, he activates his Maxx. We do have a call by the grave for that anyway, which I was pretty sure our opponent was going to try to negate. Which, because we have our orange in hand, beautiful. And it's gone. Easy negate. And even better than that, because we got to discard Ava for its activation, we can actually search for another copy of orange. Because orange isn't a once per turn, by the way, or not a hard once per turn. So we search for our Venus from this dude, and we use our orange to search for our orange using the Ava, and we can also search for, I don't only get 1 search, we only get 1 banish. Discard special summon, of course he's going to try to destroy that, but we actually have a fairy and a orange in hand, so we can negate that as well. And from here, it's full combo, boys. Let's summon out all our Shine Balls. I don't think I go for full combo here, I think I just lethal him, I think. So Moon, sending our Hyperion, Hyperion, banish, blah 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 blah, getting our field spell. Banishing his cards from graveyard so we can't summon them again in case he does survive this turn somehow. Going into our Baronne De Fleur. Baronne De Fleur can just pop the card on board, the final remaining monster. Summon out our Parshath. And link summon into our access code Talker. Because we use link 3, this card becomes a Trillion attack, and that's just lethal on board, so. Yes, there's an example of this deck going second, which generally is only going to work if you happen to draw into your oranges, because they're super good at dealing with your opponent's monster negates. Alright guys, that's going to do it for today's replays. I hope you guys enjoyed them. Remember, if you did, please remember to leave a like and consider subscribing to the channel. That way you know when I upload, and I don't know, just subscribe already. Laters.